afternoon or evening, everyone. Welcome to the Big West Mafia Show, part of the College Football Mafia. I am your host. I have returned, much like a Georgia Bulldogs player getting a DUI. I have once again returned.
Wow.
And with me, as always, is Becky. And we have a special guest, the main man, Mr. Nathan Bomber Brown. How we doing, Becky and Bomber?
Coming in hot tonight, Pickles. God.
I'm feeling a little spicy. I've had some time off. I'm ready to get back after it.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yes, as the great Marshawn Lynch said behind me. But yeah, a lot's been gone in my absence. Once again, thank you so much to Moen for holding it down. He does a great job, and man, he's all over the place. But I feel like we may have lost him to the vortex that is College Football 25. Hopefully, some people out there in our chat have already got the early access preview. I see a lot of jealousy from other people like myself that either don't have a gaming system or didn't order the deluxe edition. And Jay Chapman getting to the topic of the hour. Yes, this is the no realignment show. And I know that's controversial that Washington has been realigned. And now I'm saying, nope, we're not going to talk about it anymore. But I've seen some comments out there that people may be getting a little realignment fatigue. And we do great coverage. Bomber had an awesome midday show. If you're looking into it, I know Vince from FSU hopped by. And we're going to have awesome realignment content the rest of the week. But I thought we'd just talk about, some old school before realignment took over the world. We're just going to talk some general college football news. How does that sound, everybody?
Good. Can I do a couple shout outs?
Of course.
Good to see you, Jay. Big Lubbock. Timothy. Keep chopping. All you guys being here first. We really appreciate it.
Yep, we've had Keep Chopping, our resident Rutgers fan. Yep. And we'll touch on this with our thoughts a little later, but I'm very excited for many of our Big Ten matchups, but we will talk about the whiteout coming up. And Bomber, have you had a chance to play College Football 25, or is that on your later to-do list?
No, I'm currently taking donations to buy a console and get the game. I mean, all kidding aside, I am taking donations, but that's not it. I just want to tell everybody that we are going to be building our own leagues. We're going to be using Discord. And if you don't have the game now, don't worry about it. It'll be there next week. So it's no big deal. But I haven't seen it yet, no.
Okay. Yeah, we have to live vicariously through our more fortunate friends who.
Yes.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was playing it today.
Well,
I mean,
that's awesome.
I had the best 8-bit graphics known to man.
Let me guess. The first thing you did was realign Oregon to the Mountain West.
Mine didn't allow for any of that. But I did run out the quarter with my running back.
Yes, suspiciously pixelated graphics on your version.
I was like, these graphics aren't the same.
Honestly, and if you haven't referencing, go to Becky's Twitter page. We saw she posted a quite insightful, and the meme ages you a little bit, but it was a shot of Tecmo Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
I took that shot. I actually took that photo.
Ah, okay.
I was messing around. I actually hooked up my little Nintendo.
Old school.
The NES.
Old school. There you go. They don't make them like they used to. You got to blow on the cartridge and everything. It's so good.
Right.
So
but I would actually love it. Now that we're on I just had this epiphany. They should totally offer some kind of like retro mode where it isolates the game or does it all, like old Tecmo Bowl or even some older versions of the NCAA game. That would be
you go to Intellivision, you go to Commodore 64.
Yep. You get the NFL Blitz, exploding fire football touchdowns. It was awesome. I love old school games like that. If they want to push this thing to the max, and it sounds like they do, I expect a lot of that fun stuff to come out.
If people ask for it, they'll make it.
Yes. Demand it and they will come. Our favorite Big Ten hater is back. Your best buddy in the world, Bomber. Mr. Chauncey. Hello, my friend. Illini Ted in the building. Hello. Did they make the game on Atari 2600? That I'm not sure. I was never.
There was a football game on the Atari.
Yep. All right. Awesome.
There was baseball, football, and basketball. All three of them.
I was like, these are all before my time.
Yeah, I'm older than you.
I'm in my 40s, but I'm not
I'm an old man. Okay, Becky, you're trying to make me feel bad.
We've hit the good age spectrum here, but see the difference with me, I'm not going to age myself, but I'm the youngest member of the panel. But if you grow up, let's say financially challenged, you tend to live a couple decades back with your technology. I got to live through some of that fun experience of retro gaming consoles. And hopping right into it, I know you guys talked about it, but I have been surprisingly absent. The Big 12 kicked off media days, and Yormark was just getting after it with his speech. He's not as reserved as the other conference commissioners. What are you thinking about what he had to say, Becky, and then Bomber?
Oh, Sankey. It's just the usual diatribe of cockiness from him. And,
well, Yormark or Sankey?
Well, Sankey.
I may have misspoke.
No, well, you said Yormark.
You said Yormark.
Okay.
But I assume
okay.
Sankey.
Big 12 Media Day kicked it off, so I wanted to start there.
Oh, okay. Big 12 Media Day. We'll go with that.
Yep.
No, he's swinging for the fences. I like everything he said. He's doing exactly what is asked of him, and you can tell he has the background from professional sports. You can see it. You can see it how he responds to things, how he's staying up to date with things. And I can guarantee you, I feel like he's watching stuff like this. Like he's paying attention to everything that's going on around.
Right.
And he's creating everything he can. If he was, as conference commissioners go, he's definitely near the top. Like I can't rank him because, most of them are all brand new except for Sankey, and Phillips. But like he's doing everything that they need to do to stay relevant and to keep the momentum pushing for this. Like everything. I liked everything he said. I was like they picked a great one last year. I knew it, but now I was like, okay, way over the top. They got a great one. So
if we had that feeling last year, this year really cemented it. And once again, this is our non-realignment show, but there's no doubt Brett Yormark has an eye for business and promoting the conference and trying to get business deals. And for me,
I will
it's
say this.
The abstract thinking of how to generate money. He's thinking out of the box.
I will say this. I don't know if the Big 12 has enough money to keep him forever. Like legitimately. Like
Perhaps.
That's going to be the issue in the future.
What do you think about that, Bomber? You think you're going to hold on to your guy?
I mean, Becky pretty much said everything. I would just say that there are no sacred cows. He doesn't care about history. He doesn't care about the big and the SEC domination. He doesn't care about any of that. They hired him to do a job, and that's what he's doing. And he's doing it to his maximum. And I'm just saying, anybody who's not paying attention in the ACC right now, the shark is circling. And he ate last year. So I have every indication he's going to eat this year.
Yep. And he's got an eye for it, and when there's blood in the water, but that's a topic for another day. I just gotta say, this is peak aesthetic helmet building. I love the color balance of the new conference. I gotta say they knocked it out of the park with this one.
Oh, well, that's not even the best Arizona helmet. That new one,
true.
Cats on the side is so good.
I'm a sucker for classics. BYU went with the chrome, which I'm surprised. Tend to be quite a traditionalist bunch.
Yeah, the electric blue. The electric blue stands out a little bit more.
Trying to stay hip with the young kids.
I like this blue more than that, whatever that navy was.
Yeah, the navy sucks. Royal blue is where it's at, and they just added some sparkle.
Yep, absolutely. And following up on that, I can't remember the exact order of media days, but the kind of piggybacking a little bit off of the Big 12 was our dear friends, the Pac-2. And I got to say, I actually like the approach that they took. I thought it was quite clever to basically have a cocktail hour because they're right down the road, as far as I understand, in Vegas. All of the media people, that once Big 12 media days wrapped, just kind of walked on down and saw what was going on. And they didn't make some big hubbub about we're still a power conference and beating their chest doing that. They're like, no, we are where we are. And I thought they kind of shot straight. And I got to say, Butch Cougar after dark is a terrifying thought, but we got what we paid for in a late night in Vegas.
I loved it. I was like, they're gonna get drunk and have a good time with the media.
Yeah,
smart. But Butch Cougar dressing like what's his name from Will Ferrell from what was that Wedding Crashers?
Yeah, with the silk robe. That's quite
that was something. A lot of it happened. But while they were there at the same time as the Big 12, they did meet with a few of their Big 12 compadres, apparently.
They did. Yep.
They did. So,
Becky, you know the rules about today.
I know.
You can mention it, but that's as far as
I'm
we go.
mentioning it because I got it right before we started. They've been having conversations. So these are good things. Like they're making friends with
They're making friends. And it's important to have friends in trying times like this.
Yeah. And then you see that.
Yep. This is the other half, and I actually kind of wanted to springboard from this. Welcome to the WCC, and you can say whatever optics about it, but I still remain firmly on the train that you will see Olympic sports kind of return to regional origins at a certain point. This isn't even realignment based. I just think it's going to be cost prohibitive for all these teams to travel in the future. So I would actually really like to see, if the NCAA lives on, maybe they can be the arbiters of non-football, non-basketball sports, and that can be their lane where they can enforce the traditional rules as we knew them.
Well, Oregon State, they're independent in baseball, so they're regional and everything else. But, this is just smart for the two schools because they're not bringing in a ton of money. Their Olympic sports aren't going to be on TV and things like that for the most part. So this is just smart to make the money that they can now. So.
Yep, keep chopping. Our resident is mentioning back about Yormark from Jersey, Sankey from New York, Petiti from New York. Those boys don't play. There's something to be said about that, Northeast mentality. They don't take no for an answer. They tend to be very blunt and, they're into big business. I'd say one of those stands out as not being from New York. I'm not sure exactly where Phillips is from, but I'd say he's possibly not made of the same stuff as the other ones.
Well, right. Yormark has an identical twin brother.
Does he?
Yes. He has a twin brother. So he had to learn how to be ruthless at a young age.
Yep. Bob Swanger popping by. Hello again. Thank you to our members for stopping by and joining us. And once again, this is our non-realignment show. We may mention it in slight passing, but if you've suffered any realignment fatigue, as some of us have, we love it. We love it dearly, but all things in appropriate doses, right? Sometimes you just need to relax and get some normal college football news out there. Friend Timothy Green looks to me like Oregon State, Washington State were big dogs in the new West Coast Conference. As far as I understand, it'll be them and Gonzaga.
Yeah,
I don't really see it. I was
Gonzaga
like,
and St. Mary's. Gonzaga, St. Mary's run basketball. Everybody else will go through them. It'll take a while for Oregon State. It'll take a while to catch up, and Washington just lost their coach and all their players, so it'll take a minute. We'll see on them.
Our resident beef, Connor Johnson, what's up with Oregon State news? What are y'all hearing? Yeah, we've heard things in the ether about Oregon State and Washington State. We brought up that they were strategically located with their media day in Vegas and to be in proximity to other conferences holding media days. I think with Oregon State and Washington State specifically, it may be a while before we hear anything major. That's just my opinion. There's so many other conferences, trying to take big steps in the near future. And I don't mean for them to take a back seat, but they are, their outlook kind of changes a lot depending on what happens in front of them. Oh, right here, our resident Badger, the fantastic
Ryan.
Ryan.
Thank you so much.
He's been begging for football talk. So,
yep. Ryan, we got you. We're minimizing realignment. It may come up because it's, a little bit connected to things. But Locked On Big Ten's prediction for Wisconsin is the sign language, as you know.
How much?
The Badgers will win more than 5 games.
Oh,
yeah, I haven't seen the full breakdown predictions. I forget what team Locked On Big Ten roots for, but I feel like his personal biases against certain franchises comes in at times. He has not necessarily been had a positive outlook of the Huskies. Yeah, I heard at one point he said that they may struggle to win 6 games, which obviously I disagree with as a Husky homer. But in truth, this is a brand new, we've never seen anything like this much change going into one season. And, as large as these conferences are, you're not going to play everyone all the time. So it's really hard to gauge one team versus the other when the schedules are so different. You're not necessarily seeing a ton of overlap in games.
Well, here we go. I have their schedule right in front of me. Let's go through it real quick. Tell me what you guys think.
Hit it.
Week 1, home with Western Michigan.
Win. Yes.
Okay, so that's 1 win. Week 2 is home with South Dakota. Not State, but South Dakota.
It's a win.
It's a win. Okay. Then they're home with Alabama.
That's a loss.
I think probably a loss.
As much as I would love for them to upset the fighting Kalen DeBoers, it's going to be tough sledding there for the Badgers.
Then they have their bye week, and then the next week they're at USC.
That one could go either way, in my opinion. I believe this is an accurate schedule.
That's it. Yeah. Well, it's not in order, but
it's not in order. But
I'm on Wisconsin's actual website. Then they're home with Purdue.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Then they're at Rutgers. I think that's a loss. I think Rutgers is going to be really good this year.
Well, actually, this schedule is incorrect. It doesn't have Rutgers on there, so apologies for the inaccurate info. But Becky's got the real list.
I don't know. I might give that to Wisconsin.
Is that at Rutgers or at Wisconsin?
At Rutgers.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that one.
I think Rutgers is going to be much improved. I mean, Shiano's recruiting like Rutgers never has.
Oh, they've bounced back great.
They're
going to be good.
Rutgers will be great if they can throw the football this year.
They can be good for sure.
Not throw.
Like early in the season, Washington has to go to Rutgers. It's their first Big Ten away game, and it wouldn't shock me if they lose that game. And I think the Huskies are going to have a decent season.
So after 5 games, we'll say they're 3-2.
Yeah,
we'll give them either USC or Rutgers, right?
Yes.
Then they're at Northwestern, which is actually on the campus.
Who?
Northwestern on their weird, modified campus.
I'd take Wisconsin.
Unless the wind's blowing 9 miles sideways, I'd take Wisconsin, and even then, I'd probably still take Wisconsin.
So they're 4. We have them at 4-2.
See, there you go, Ryan. We're already
here. We go. Then they're home with Penn State. There's a loss.
That's a loss.
Probably a loss.
Then they're at Iowa. That's a loss. So now they're at 4-4. Then they're home with Oregon.
Oh, Nelly.
That's a loss. So they're 4-5. Then they're at Nebraska.
I think that's a win. I'm not sold on Nebraska. That's just me, though.
I think that's another 50-50.
Yeah.
It really depends.
It's a rivalry.
Yeah. Because and then they end their season with Minnesota. So they realistically 6-6.
6 is what I had them at.
Hopefully Tony Blashin is not in the chat, but I have Wisconsin beating Minnesota.
Like 6 wins. That's not. I mean, it's more, but things could definitely go their way. They could have 8-9 wins easily.
That chunk of
their way.
That chunk of 4 games in kind of the 3/4 mark of the season is horrible. Holy cow! The back.
Yeah, the
Penn State, Oregon, Iowa.
Yeah, home with Penn State, at Iowa, home with Oregon, at Nebraska.
That's rough.
That is rough.
I think if you pull 1 win out of those, you're probably okay.
Yeah, I mean they didn't. Okay. They got no favors. They got USC, Alabama.
Oh,
it is a brutal schedule.
It is.
If they came out of it undefeated, I'd be like, "There's your national champs." Like God.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But Ryan, we'll give you a heck of a lot more than. Well, I'd say 6 or 7 wins feels like it's right in that range, right in the cards.
Yeah, there's too many 50-50 games for me to be like, oh, it's definitely this much. That's why I was like, they could easily have 8 or 9 wins. There's enough 50-50 games that, like, if players are hurt or people are underperforming, absolutely. But yeah, that stretch, that 4-game stretch to end the year before Minnesota is 4 of the last 5 games are brutal.
They could steal a couple.
They could.
Yeah.
Kind of general consensus in the chat. We got, it's a brutal schedule. Timothy Green saying 7-5 with a little luck. I think that 6 to 7 wins is right in there. And that's kind of where I have Washington too. So it's not like I'm picking, my team to win all these games. Yeah. Bob, we're pointing out that's brutal. They don't play Ohio State or Michigan. True. But in the new Big Ten, you have 3 to 4 monster games every year, even with the quote unquote easiest schedules. There's no avoiding some giant landmines.
Yeah. Phil Steele put out his prediction. He gave Washington the toughest schedule.
Really?
Yes. Phil Steele gave Washington the toughest schedule in the Big Ten because and he rated the toughest programs, he said, are Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Iowa. And I don't know why he went with those, but Washington and Penn State. Washington plays 4 out of the top 5 teams, according to him.
Yeah. Washington has Oregon. Oh, and we can roll right into it because that's the story.
Do it.
But let's do it. Becky, I saw you getting real pumped up. We got to break the news for you. It was extremely exciting. But Penn State, this was one that Husky fans had circled as soon as we saw the basic calendar. But the whiteout game, Washington, November 9th.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I had it as a loss. I thought, it's one of those games that if everything breaks the Huskies' way, they could pull out a close win. But goodness gracious, Penn State under the lights in a whiteout, it's one of those, we'll have welcome to the Big Ten moments before November 9th. But this is welcome to prime time, big boy, under the lights, 100,000 people, Big Ten football. Let's see how you like them apples, Washington Huskies.
I mean, let's see how much purple shows up in that white, because
little specks here and there.
I guarantee Husky fans are going to be like, oh, it's a whiteout game? Let's all go.
Let's go make it polka dotted.
We're all making way more money than them. Let's all spend all our money, and they'll fill a section.
Shonsky right in there. Welcome to the Big Ten. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm here for it.
I'm going to this game.
I am here for it.
I'm going to this game. Like, we had already planned to go to this game, my friends and I. So, we're all going to this game.
Shout out to our members only videos. Look for about 11:10 or 11:12, the Becky exclusive from the stadium members only content coming to you.
There you go. I like it.
Oh, there's going to be tons of members only content. I'm going to be at the Northwestern UW game, first Big Ten game here on the West Coast. For Washington. So look out for that. That'll be some stuff I'm going to shoot before and after the game.
Yeah, keep chopping. Iowa will be welcome to the Big Ten moment too. Absolutely. And that's actually the game. I don't believe because of my personal schedule, I would be able to make the Penn State game. I'd thought about trying to get out there to Kinnick for, the Wave and Iowa. And I've heard the fans are awesome, and I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I've heard you just walk around with the tailgate and, people will just throw you a beer and chat with you about some football. It sounds like a great time.
Rock.
Becky clearly never had to travel to State College. Good luck getting there in time. I did hear this.
A ton of Husky fans have already bought flights and everything. It is actually very difficult to get a flight to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia right now that weekend.
Yeah. Our resident Big Ten friends, Moen and Immaculate, have said that there's basically one road in and out of Penn State, and everyone uses it to get to either Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. So travel is brutal. Get there early and show out for the Huskies, everyone.
But you can fly in directly to State College. Can fly in directly there.
If you got the scratch for it, Clint Moses, bow down. Appreciate it, my friend.
Hey, Pickles, I got a jet.
All right.
If that's okay.
Yeah,
of course. Rock, okay. I missed the comment earlier, said Bomber's rocking that 24-hour telethon he's got going on the College Football Mafia channel.
We've got a lot going on in the world, so we're trying to cover as much as we can. I appreciate you letting me come on. I just wanted to say hi to everybody.
Yeah, of course. Sorry we got wrapped up in our scheduling talk, but
it is your show. I'm just living in it. So
yep,
that's not a problem at all.
Bomber, got any thoughts about either what we were talking about or things that have occurred to you since your show earlier today?
I would, Greg Pflugar, peek around the corner, tells you to keep your head on a swivel. And I would just say, anything that you're hearing from stories that are talking in absolutes with anything realignment made, I don't care conference, I don't care school, I would question a little bit. There's a lot of stuff going on, and just be ready to flex with it. Just go with the flow, and don't get upset if you hear about something.
But I heard FSU has already been voted in by Fox, and Clemson is going to be talked about later.
Oh my hell!
As the great philosophizer Obi-Wan Kenobi said, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Yeah, that's about right.
We do not deal here on the College Football Mafia channel.
I would not do that. Anyway, everybody have a great night. We do have a show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Bomber. We will see you tomorrow.
Very welcome. Okay, see you later. Peace out.
All right.
All right, the boss is gone. What do we do now? No.
Yeah, now that the boss is gone, we can really have some fun and not mind our manners as much. It's like when your boss's boss comes into your work area and you're just like, yeah, I'm doing so good. But my brain is just totally out of the left field now that we're talking about it. But I'm super excited to get to the Big Ten, and I know the Huskies might have a rough season, but honestly, our shows during the week, breaking down the weekend's action, like anything could happen. Big 12, Big 10, ACC, like we have somewhat of a feeling who the good teams will be, but you could name me virtually any conference game upset of any team, and I would probably believe you.
Yeah, I would.
I could see Northwestern beating Ohio State if things were crazy enough. Like, do I expect it? No, but it's possible. Anything's possible in this new world we live in. Oh goodness, where are we going? We were talking about schedules, and this kind of ties in with the conference realignment. I know that's our bad word for the day, but bear with us, because I've seen we have Georgia, UCLA canceling a home and home, Ole Miss, USC, Florida, Cal, Auburn, UCLA, and UCLA immediately turns around and schedules Cal for multiple years. I think that's part of their Calamity settlement. At least it feels that way. And they scheduled Utah home and also in the Rose Bowl. So what are we thinking? This is going to be a trend we see continue, that in specific, these kind of cross-country big-time matchups in the non-conference will go away? What do you think, Becky?
Probably. I mean, it's not Cal and UCLA. It's not a Calamity thing. It's just that they're going to be able to fill it, and it's their way of hopefully not giving them $10 million every year. But no, we're gonna start to see this. And by the way, I mean, smart on UCLA, get rid of Georgia.
Oh, goodness.
No business being on the field with them.
There's no upside there at all to play in that game.
None.
If you win, yeah, you're a contender. But if you're good enough to beat them, you were a contender anyway.
No. This will be. It'd be just like when they beat A&M that year. Oh, look, we beat A&M and won 5 games. Congrats. A&M beat the crap out of you. Literally, like, you lost guys for weeks after that game.
Rock can vouch that UCLA is prone to having a huge early season win and then just totally letting it slip out of their fingers in terms of contending for the conference.
Exactly. And I mean, but here's the thing. USC, Riley was trying to get out of the LSU game. So Riley does not want to play that game. Like, that's Riley.
Yeah. That's been reported for a while. For what reason exactly? I mean, people, Riley's scared and this and that. I don't think that's it. I mean,
I don't think it's it either.
Look at your conference schedule. It's already a meat grinder, and then you're adding in quite a bit of travel. Do you think, as some have speculated, that this is part of a further move of all these SEC teams to move to 9 conference games, or preparing to add teams which would necessitate 9 conference games?
No.
Okay.
Mostly because like if they're going to cancel games, they're going to cancel the ones where they have to pay the most money, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to cancel the games where they have to spend the most. They're going to cancel the games where they're getting things from it. So if they want to pay $4 or $5 million to cancel a game or a series, go right on ahead. That doesn't behoove you in the future. But to get a ninth conference game to get maybe like $2 or $3 million more per year from ESPN, it's not a good. Even if they got $6 million, it's $2 million more. It's not a good. They'd cancel those games against the FCS opponent or games against like Eastern Michigan or something like that, like a MAC team or a Sun Belt. And really, the SEC would probably prefer to cancel the games against Sun Belt teams before anybody else because the Sun Belt gives them all kinds of problems. Like the Pac-12, we had the Mountain West problem. The Big Ten, they don't really have a conference problem outside of theirs. But the Big 12 and the SEC seem to have this Sun Belt problem, and they can't get away from it. So,
yeah, I mean, there's always the SEC has not been penalized for their 8 conference games nearly as much as others, and part of that was like Alabama last year scheduling Texas out of conference or Wisconsin this year. Like those are premier names, and you can look at it as the additional power conference game. But that doesn't seem to be flying anymore, and more of these power teams, with how brutal their conference schedules are, they're just going to say no. And I don't know how much the SEC, propaganda of we're the best in the world is going to go when fighting for those, number 11 and 12 playoff spots. I don't, you could say, because you can't say anymore, oh, well, your extra conference game in the Big Ten, that was Rutgers or, Northwestern or whoever. It's like, no, that extra game is now Oregon. That extra game is now Washington. It's now USC. That extra game really mattered, and it was really tough. And that's true in the SEC also, but they seem to be really holding on to that 8 conference games, and I think they're just going to run out of power opponents who say yes.
I mean, as Husky fans, by the way, we have Tennessee on our schedule in a few days. Like that's I don't think that one gets played.
Yeah, Clint Moses saying ex-Pac schools want easy travel, other ex-Pac teams. Absolutely. Just like with Utah, UCLA, like it's still big for West Coast teams who are not in the Big Ten or even the Big 12 to get an exposure in California specifically because of, it's a massive recruiting base, even if, you're no longer playing conference games.
I'll just say this. I swear to God, if UW cancels the Tennessee game and schedules either Arizona or Arizona State, I'm going to puke.
They're going to. That. That's just how it works.
So mad. I'm like,
I don't care if they
Stanford
schedule
or Cal. Don't schedule those two. Like of all the teams, like God.
Yeah. If you're canceling the Tennessee game would be kind of a blow because I want to experience their version of sailgating. I think that crossover could be a lot of fun. But if you're going to cancel it, please, for the love, don't send us to the desert. Huskies that's our boogeyman. Like every Big Ten fan knows the spoiler makers of Purdue. For the Huskies, that was playing in the desert in either Tucson or Tempe. It just did not go well traditionally for us.
You know what? Screw it. Let's just schedule Georgia Tech or Syracuse.
Yeah. Remember Lee Austin Jr., Oklahoma better not cancel Michigan game. Rumor has it that they may. If the trend continues, I mean, I hate to say it because I love seeing these big early season matchups, especially where they're in, neutral site venues. I think it's awesome. It's a cool way to kick off the season. But I feel like this trend may continue indeed.
Yeah.
Timothy Green, I missed it. He was commenting on seafood because I got our Huskies up here in the Pacific Northwest. I did promise him if Washington beats Oregon, I will send him a caught by me straight out the river salmon fillet. I will overnight it to him if Washington beats Oregon this upcoming season. That was my promise to our Mountaineer friend.
You're going to fillet it and debone it?
Oh, absolutely. I'll get him the biggest cut of salmon fillet I got.
What, out of the freezer, or like you're going to catch it that day and bring it to him? Because
out of the freezer. It'll be too late in the season for fresh. Sorry, Timothy. I did it. That's the best I can do, but it'll be caught by me with love straight out the river, wild caught salmon.
I'm like, because we're not going to go. You're not going to go to you're not going to go to the market and buy it because that stuff is like what, $40 a pound.
Nope. Fishing license is a lot cheaper, I promise
A lot
you.
cheaper.
Oh, Ryan again showing the generosity. Wins Western Michigan, North Dakota, Bama, USC. Okay. Losses Oregon, PSU. Holy cow!
I'm going 10-2.
That is bold.
Bold.
I see Ryan let the drinking begin at his household, let alone the stadium. I like it, Ryan. This is a bold outlook on the Badgers, and honestly,
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. I love the spiciness. Again, this is my anything is possible. You can tell me 10-2 with losses to Oregon and PSU, and I'm like, yeah. Do I think it's likely? No. Is it possible? Sure. Why not?
I mean, you have no idea. I might
man,
switch, just take the loss to Bama, but get a win over Oregon. Just do that.
Yeah. Yeah, the conference win is almost you'd almost rather have that conference win.
Yeah.
I mean, they could beat Penn State at home. I believe they get them at Camp Randall, you said. So that one I could see flipping. Penn State.
Well, no,
Penn State at home is notoriously difficult, but they've been known to trip up on the road.
Pickles, they have Bama, Oregon, Penn State, all in their own building.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. That's actually doable.
You tell me you go 1-2 or even 2 1 against those teams.
I would believe you.
Yeah, home environment's definitely a big one.
But Camp Randall's legendary. This is the same team that went 0-2 against Washington State.
Yeah, I have had to give Ryan some grief about the real UW thing, that the real UW doesn't lose to WSU. So, Ryan, prove us wrong. Beat Bama. Beat the fighting Kalen DeBoers. Well, you'll be eternally in our graces for that one. So
winner goes to the SEC. That's what
winner goes. Certainly so, but yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna stick with. I'll call it 7-5 right now. Just top a hat. I think 7-5. It's a solid season. Maybe not as I wouldn't call that a disappointment in the new Big Ten. You go above 500 in the new Big Ten. That's a solid season.
Even after last year, I think they won 7 or 8 games. This is a tougher year.
Absolutely,
I would take it.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because in previous years you would go through the schedule and be like, oh, my team got screwed because of the schedule. Yeah, loss. And Seattle fans are notoriously pessimists. The majority of us. Because
have you seen our baseball team?
We've had our baseball team and our football team for a long time was very, 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 very underwhelming. But, I'm going to stick with it. I'm not trying to be milquetoast, but I think both the Wisconsin and Washington right in there at that 6, 7, 8 win range. I could see it. I could absolutely see it.
I can see it.
Yeah. All right. Keep chopping. Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you see this? Did you see this earlier?
I will bring it right up. I've been meaning to talk about this. And there was so much trolling going on. Lincoln Riley at USC has been a disaster. The talking mouthpiece of the SEC, Paul Feinbaum. And he said he would have fired Riley. He is the ultimate SEC shill. And it's kind of one of those things that he doesn't say it out in the open, but we all know it's true. And he knows it's true. And we all just kind of play along. But, man, I get it. You're talking down the old coach of Oklahoma. He's at one of the premier brands in the new conference, and you're just trying to take shots at him. Has his seasons been underwhelming? Yes, I've said that. I've argued with people hyping up USC going into this year that, Riley makes Heisman's, not championships. And it's true so far. But that isn't the same as saying it's been a disaster and he should be fired. I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
No. I mean, he did, the offense hasn't been their problem. Their defense has been their problem. And he addressed that. He fired Alex Grinch, who had to have had dirt on him. I don't know how he kept his job as long as he did. The fact that team went 11-3 or something like that 2 years ago, went to the Cotton Bowl. I mean, they gave up 50 points to Tulane. That should never have happened at USC ever. That should have got him fired.
Yeah,
but turning around, and then this last year they only won 8 games. They went 8-5 with a dominating win over Louisville in
tough
the bowl
conference,
game.
Though Pac-12 was
a tougher conference this year. Yeah,
Pac-12 is as good as it had been there a decade.
And they played great against Washington. They played great against Oregon. They played great against Utah. Like, they went up to the top teams, and they just didn't have the defense to do it. And it showed. And what did he do? He fired the problem. And then who did he hire? Probably the best defensive coordinator in the country from UCLA. By the way, UCLA, if you didn't know, that defense was no joke good. Ask the Utah fans. I don't think they scored an offensive touchdown to win that game.
Yeah, UCLA was underratedly good.
Yeah, and that defense, as soon as he took over, was insanely good. UCLA's defense went from like blah to, oh my God, I don't want to play them. Like, they were good. And he's going to do it at USC. It may not happen this year, but it will happen next year. And again, like you said, Feinbaum, the talking head of, ESPN.
He's the mouthpiece. He says everything.
He's the SEC former that everybody wants to be. Like, we have Colin Cowherd. They have Paul Feinbaum. Colin Cowherd is like a former booster at Washington, like his season ticket holder, all that stuff, right? He's not anymore. But all he ever talks about is USC, and you go, oh, why is that? Well, apparently his daughter was dating a player, blah, 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 blah. That was the rumor.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. He does the same thing, but Lincoln Riley being fired because everybody got really, really good when Lincoln Riley showed up is not a Lincoln Riley problem. That's a good thing to have.
Yeah. Sooner in Texas, I imagine his thoughts on this are perhaps more in line with Feinbaum. Hope he remains a coach at USC for decades. Not serious till he gets rid of his Pilates instructor as a coach. He's just a fraud. I feel you. I get the hate. But yeah, he did great things at Oklahoma, and he's done some good things at USC. He's definitely a capable coach, but the standard's certainly elevated. Like at USC, when you're given, it's like being given all of the best ingredients on earth. You get Wagyu beef and all the freshest everything and truffle. You get all the ingredients to make a 5-star meal. You better cook a flipping 5-star meal. And so far, he hasn't.
I mean, have you ever seen Riley cook?
Yes, let Riley cook is a scary thought.
Don't let Riley actually cook. Like, offensively, let him cook all day. But like, to
hire a
your
capable
family,
DC, which it seems like he has. So
he did. He fired he did exactly what he needed. And by the way, had the new rules been in place about coaching this year, he had probably the best analyst in the country, who was a former NFL head coach at Texas Tech. Yeah. Coached up Patrick Mahomes. Like, he could have had that dude in his quarterback's ear all year, and they would have been better. Like, they're fine.
Sooner in Texas, just for you though. We'll give you no super chat. We'd like to see super chats for possibly insulting other viewers of ours, but we can't say
that.
We can. I'll do it just because
don't do it. Don't do it.
We're 2-0 against Texas last
Don't
year.
jinx us. I swear to Pickles, if we lose our next game against Texas,
did I get a flag on the play? Am I going to get flagged now in the SEC? Is that how we're doing it?
Only if we lose our next game to Texas. I swear to you. I'm coming back to this moment going, you jinxed it.
That's fine. I can live with that. Yeah.
I hope Montana loses.
Piggyback, they did in the championship last year. Christopher C, one more loss to Bama. That seems reasonable. Getting back to the Ryan Willie 10-2 prediction. Yeah, 9-3. Totally. That totally makes sense.
Thank you. I said
you're right in there.
9 wins is definitely possible.
Yep.
10 if things go their way.
10 if things go their way. It's definitely possible. But thank you so much for all of our members that have been commenting. Lee Austin Jr., I believe, is a more recent new member, USC Strength Conditioning Program below average. For the raw measurables and star count on that roster, they should not be being pushed around by teams with undebatably lesser talent. It's pretty sad. And I got so much hype about Bear Alexander, and he's in the SEC, and he's going to dominate from the USC line, and the Washington line completely pancaked him. So, yeah, that's inexcusable.
By the way, USC has upgraded all of their practice facilities. I don't know if people saw this. They've installed a grass field, like brand new turf and grass. So
how many Big Ten teams have a grass field? I feel like it's not that many.
It's not that many, but they're being smart because UCLA plays on grass. So
Yep. Well, for all of our members out there, we got brand new Wild Youth series coming on the SEC comparison videos. He has come up with his magic model. People love it or hate it, but there's no denying. He just plugs in the numbers and it spits out what it spits out. So those will be coming to the members channel. Members live streams, brand new coming Wednesday. Today is Monday. Yes. Our first ever members live stream will be coming Wednesday. We're going to try and do those semi-regularly. We're giving you a little more bang for your buck in your membership, but if you'd like to become a member, here is how you can do so.
Want to become a member of the College Football Mafia family? Simply select the Join button from our homepage. There are several options with their own unique benefits to choose from. You can also set yourself to auto-accept gifted membership by selecting the gift settings options as shown.
Absolutely, and thank you so much to our members. Feel free to gift other memberships out there. We got people that may be struggling on financial times, and if you receive a membership from anyone, feel free to pay it forward. That's how we get the community growing, and as soon as that little membership icon pops up for you, go over to our member page, and there's a whole backlog of all our really, really cool in-depth videos, and especially, I love my Moen rants. My members-only Moen rants are some of my favorite. He gets a little spicier than he's allowed to on the normal live streams that our good friend Moen does. So please head over and check those out.
A little spicier.
Yeah, Coy, how the heck does Oregon have a Pac-12 on the football field? I'm not sure if that's true anymore. Washington has posted pictures. I do know that. I have this picture just handy available. Oregon redid their court. Washington has a redone court. USC also posted pictures. UCLA surprisingly absent so far. I haven't seen their contribution, but all the logos are coming up. Husky Stadium's got them on the field, so it's coming. It is slowly.
UCLA is a grass field. It's the Rose Bowl, so you won't see that. But as far as like Poly Pavilion goes,
they did have Pac-12 logos, no?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
At where? At Poly Pavilion.
At the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. But it's grass, so they just
they'll do it game day, right?
They do it the week up. But like Poly Pavilion for the basketball court for the Bruins, they don't usually update it until like now, so they're probably like in the middle of updating the court. So because they usually do things all year round on it, so their timing is very tricky with it. So.
I believe this is Les Austin Jr. scolding me for my horrible, horrible pronunciation of grammar. If it is Les Austin, give me a thumbs up in chat. My apologies. I want to get our members' names right, but I am semi-illiterate. I was in the Marine Corps after all, so bear with me, people.
He does like his crayons, guys. He does like his crayons.
Green's always my favorite. I'll fight people for them.
Green tastes like grape.
Yep. What? Anyway, Coy, they just posted a video on the website that the duck going on the football field still showing the Pac logo. That may have been shot.
We have no idea when they shot that.
Yeah. The cutoff was July 2nd, I believe, was the official day where it was okay to, and they started. You see the official accounts starting to post pictures and videos and everything. The Washington ones, we got kind of leaks beforehand as they were painting the court, people inside the arena. So we're kind of in this limbo where the four schools are no longer in the Pac-12, but August 2nd is when we legally, officially join the Big Ten. So it's kind of this funky transition, but I'm sure they will have it sorted out before the start of the season.
Yeah, they'll have it done before practices begin. I think they start practicing like the first week of August, so it has to be done by then. So we got a couple of weeks.
Indeed. I got a thumbs up from Les Austin Jr. Absolutely. I believe you're a Michigan fan. We won't hold that against you, even though I'm still a little bitter about it, but we're glad you're here. Thank you. John Wilner, we already kind of knew this. This was previously announced, but we got the full breakdown of Pac-12 bowl opportunities. And the schools, although they have moved conferences, are maintaining their old alignments. So you could legitimately see Utah at Oklahoma State in the Alamo Bowl. And, the Rose Bowl is obviously a bigger playoff game, but what is it? Washington versus Purdue in the Holiday Bowl. And it'll be a bowl game. So it's kind of wonky. I get that this has to do with the fact that I think realignment accelerated faster than expected and faster for them to be able to adjust. But Are you looking forward to a 10th conference game for some of these teams, Becky? What's a matchup that you really wanting to see that possibly isn't in the regular season? Is there one that comes to immediate mind?
I just want Washington to play Minnesota so he can talk trash to Greg.
I would love that. We do a live stream the whole day for that one.
Right.
Every second of that.
No, like what's weird is like, what was it? Kansas State is playing somebody in a non-conference game. That's now a conference team. Who is it?
I'm not sure.
Hold on, I'll tell you who it is.
Yeah. Good friend Les Austin, Michigan voted for you guys to become Big Ten members, and Ohio State didn't. I obviously Michigan did.
Arizona plays Kansas State this year, and it's a non-conference game.
That's one of those weird scheduling holdovers.
So it's like I want to see that game, but in the Alamo Bowl.
Are the two SEC teams maintaining their old alignments also? Is that part of the deal?
No.
Okay.
No, because
no tech match for us in that.
Yeah, it's because the conference went that they have to like.
I see.
Stick with it because there's not enough teams to like actually fill the bowl allotment. And if like Texas and again like Oregon makes the playoff, they're not going to count. So, in reality, it's just like if all of them are bowl eligible, you have to fill these spots.
The heck is that? I don't care about that. Yeah. Sorry. Side note: our friend Les Austin, Michigan voted for you guys to become Big Ten members, and OSU didn't. Becky, is that true? I'm not trying to challenge our friend Les, but you are our plugged-in insider. Do you know who voted for Washington to get in?
I do.
Was it unanimous?
It wasn't unanimous.
Boo.
But it was. But yeah, I believe it was Penn State and Ohio State voted no. That was it.
Yeah,
voted yes.
I'm not actually mad that they voted no. I'd be curious why, and something tells me it had more to do with timing than Washington being some terrible
I think that was
they don't want.
I think that was the original vote because the next vote was 100% unanimous. So once they started getting more money, they're like, "Oh, we're good."
Yeah, I mean, and that we had heard that rumor from a long time that Washington and Oregon, you're teed up as the 2030 edition. After we get kind of these first ones sorted out.
Yeah, because they had no intention at the time of actually like putting in Washington or Oregon. There was this weird rumor that like if UCLA didn't go, that it would have been USC and Oregon. Wasn't the case. Oregon didn't have the votes then either. So it was USC or it would have been USC or bust. And
yeah, you got to make the money work
then
for
voted
sure.
Down. Had UCLA said, no, we're not leaving, USC would have had to find that partner and probably would have gone to Stanford. Just being a little honest, they probably would have gone to Stanford to find the partner.
Yeah, Nathan Campbell. Sorry, we're talking about bowl affiliations. I don't believe A&M versus Washington is possible other than the playoff.
No, it is. It is in the Las Vegas Bowl because that's an SEC Pac-12 matchup. Yeah,
that's an SEC. The Vegas Bowl wasn't always an SEC. I believe it was an at-large versus Pac-12 for a long time. But that'd be quite something. I'd have to go in person just to laugh at the cringe Lord Yell guys. But it'd be fun in its own way.
It's Vegas. I would go just because it's Vegas.
It's a cheap flight. To all my people.
Cheap flight, cheap stay, out of there. In and out, less than like $700.
Your Mark mentioning that that Vegas may be the future home of the Big 12 championship game. Big 12 fans, do not lament. I understand you're like, that's so far away. It's even further west than the West teams. That's got to be cheaper travel than any city in the country for the average American. That
100%.
Anywhere. It is so dirt cheap. There's hotels everywhere. There's tons of stuff to do. Even if you're not going to the game. Go fly there and go to a sports bar with a 5 billion foot TV and watch the game in Vegas. Even if you didn't get tickets to the game, just be a fan in Las Vegas for the championship game. I think it's great. I understand it's like the Big Ten fans we've kind of talked to about, hey, they should alternate the Rose Bowl for the Big Ten championship. And they're very traditionalist. They want Indy. And I understand. I'm not trying to be the new guy imposing my will, but be open to some fun, people. It's a new era of football. We gotta have a little more fun in the game.
Oh, I fully expect SoFi to host one day, and obviously Vegas to host one day.
Yeah.
Like fully expect that. And I also expect one day for Phoenix to host the Big 12 title game as well.
Yeah, that I could absolutely see.
Like I could see it. And I understand like for
Jerry World.
like, the West Virginia fans out there, like Timothy, like that might be, if you're in West Virginia and Morgantown, that might be a bit of a flight. Like that might be a little more difficult to get to and a little more costly than like say Dallas, but it's Las Vegas. You get to Las Vegas, like, so.
Yeah, Timothy Green, you'll have to let us know. Hop on Kayak or something. Just go to random December flights and tell us what the cheaper option would be for you. Phoenix, Dallas, Kansas City, Vegas. I'd be really curious.
I don't think it'll ever be in Kansas City again.
Yeah. I mean, it's just very centrally located as far as distance for teams to travel, which I understand.
Yeah. And I mean, like, keep chopping here. It's talking about, the Rose Bowl. Like, we should have the game at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Big Ten title game could be at the Rose Bowl.
Vegas, okay. Yeah. Rose Bowl, no thanks. That's a pretty bold assumption to say either of the California teams would make it. But, I mean, Pac-12 had it at the Santa Clara 49ers Stadium, and that's a totally different deal because that field's not very good. But
that field's not very good. The hotels are expensive there, and flights are expensive there. That was actually, I did that game one year against Colorado. It cost me $1,200 to get there, like just to get there and stay. My counterpoint, keep chopping, would be that UCLA doesn't even have a home game inside of the Rose Bowl ever. So. And there's so many Big Ten fans in Los Angeles that I feel like you would get really good. Hot take. UCLA doesn't have any home games. Sorry, Rock. You'll kill me in the comments later. It's fine. He's going to be mad about that one. I'm going to hear about No, but it's true.
His wife. I'm on his wife's poo-poo list, I'm sure.
I bet. Well, it's semi-true.
It is. They get up for certain games. I'll give them that. You put them a good team on the field, they show up.
They did show up against Texas A&M that year. And then they stayed, even though they're getting their butts kicked. They stayed.
Yeah. Coy's saying the Pac-12 schools wear big logos on their uniform since it's a bowl game. I believe they will. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. And
things are sewn on. That's not a patch.
The official pictures have come out, and it's a small change. We're rocking pretty much the same uniforms as last year, but man, it just, the feel is so different. It's so crazy to see a different logo. Like all the way back to the Pac-8, it was basically the same logo for us, and it's pretty nutty to see something different. But I like it. It's good. It feels good. It feels good for Husky fans.
It looks good, but it's not a patch. It's an actual sewn on the jersey. So
it's a little. We actually have budget now for things like sewing instead of patches.
Yeah, Adidas pays us a lot of money to be one of their flagship schools, so like that's all like taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Wisconsin voted for Washington, UCLA, and USC so we could all join the Big Ten. Yeah, we're huge in research, and Wisconsin's right there. They're like one of our good buddies when it comes to high-end academic stuff. And we were always really interconnected with other research Big Ten schools. So that part's not shocking about it. It was all about making the football money work.
Yeah. I mean, like, everything just had to work for the media partner. And then once the media partner was like, okay, this works, we'll say yes, but you guys will get this much because we're going to give them this much. And they were like, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Les Austin, great show, Pickles and Becky. Thank you so much. We do this every Monday or most Mondays when I'm not busy, but hopefully someone will sub in for me. We do 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and our other guys are the realignment barons. They will go so into the weeds on it, and we try and give our takes now and then. But we're kind of generic football fans. We like talking. Here we go. I'll do it because I found out a little bit before the show started.
Hit it. Go for it.
All right, here you go.
That's totally on you. You got some hot takes.
Yeah. Washington State has had a conversation with the ACC. Oregon State has already been having conversations with the ACC. Nothing more than preliminary, nothing more than just talk. And the big caveat is they probably wouldn't join until after 2026 when all of that money can be absorbed into the ACC.
Wow. That's Whew. I mean, they're going to SMU themselves into the ACC, and I can't blame them.
That's the ACC's idea. Because it would keep them whole.
Man, I mean, the ACC might lose teams, but they might be swimming in cash at the same time. Holy good gravy.
Just say this out loud. Like, if they came in, they're going to come in at, like, less than what Stanford and Cal got.
Yeah.
So
it'd have to be just to make it work. But on the same token, on the same token, I wouldn't be shocked to see them get something like Oregon and Washington did, where they get a little bit on top to cover travel.
That's what that money would be for. But they want to, like, let them buy their way in with whatever's left over.
Yep.
So like $70 million a year. Some crazy number.
Yeah. Clint Moses future Husky games at Lumen Field.
The Apple Cup this year.
The Apple Cup this year will be at Lumen Field because Washington State threw a fit about where to host it. So we just said, fine, we'll push it out a year and we'll host it at Lumen Field. We'll split the ticket allocation 50-50. Washington sold their portion out a couple weeks, and Wazoo still has not sold their portion.
Wazoo's selling them. They're just going to be a lot of purple. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
I'm just telling you, Wazoo fans, you say you're big in number. There's a lot of you out here in Seattle, and I know, but there's tickets available for you. I'm not trying to dunk on you, but, like, support your team. They're in Seattle for a change.
Let me say this, though.
You don't have to drive to Pullman. Go buy tickets.
Let me say this, though, for the people who are asking, these tickets are like $100 a pop. That's what they're paying. That is the lowest amount. Sit in the nosebleeds, $100.
Easy peasy.
Like, easy peasy for Husky fans. Wazoo fans are mad because they wouldn't even have to pay that to drive to Wazoo, to, like, Pullman, like, and get a ticket. Like, they're mad. And they should be.
With the cost of fuel these days, that is basically a ticket. So show up. It'll be a great game. I don't believe I'll be able to make it. Life calls. I got 3 kids, all that happy jazz. But Becky, no excuses. You better be there.
I'm not going to be in town. So
darn it,
man. But we're looking. I mean, like, if I can make it work, can make it work, then I'll be there. But as of right now, it's looking like I won't be here. So
Timothy Green.
I'm also going to play. My softball team is playing in the World Series in October in Vegas. So the money's going to get a little tight when you have to spend a week in Vegas, which, if anybody knows, Vegas ain't cheap for a whole week.
I'm going to hype Becky up for a minute. Plays on a I would call it semi-pro, even though I don't think you're getting paid anything.
I don't get paid. I pay them.
Becky's an absolute beast, is in far better shape than I ever was, and is like 6'3". I'm a dwarf lemming German kid. So Becky's an absolute monster playing softball, and that'll be really cool. Timothy Green stroking our egos a little bit here as we get close to wrap up the show. We're always ourselves and never clickbait. At least we try not to. If it's clickbait, it's tongue in cheek. We promise that. But we really appreciate Timothy Green and Joey Z, and another name popping in right at the last minute. Contribute to your local team, $50 on top of your ticket for NIL. Yeah, it's totally wide open now. Like, go help your school's NIL. Like, we've always been fans complaining about, oh, my team's crap and they never spend any money and we don't have the resources of this school. Kick in what you can. Like, money's tough, but, like, help your NIL. It is actually legitimately a chance for fans to help their school, which is really, really awesome. So that's the positive side of NIL.
Yeah. I mean, like, NIL is great. Contribute. You're watching schools like Oregon get all these 5-star kids. Do you know how they're doing this? Because they have one mega booster. They have one mega booster who's apparently, like, the reports are, Phil Knight is wanting to win a championship before he dies. He's almost 90. Got to get it in now. He's going to be like 86 this year. But the thing that anybody else can do, $50 times, say, 70,000 people, it goes a long way toward closing those gaps and keeping it going. I donate to the UW, the Montlake Futures. It's a great thing. You're at UW, but I'm nowhere near what some of these guys are donating. But that's the best way to help out. And the only way that this is going to work in the future for it to happen. And just to put this out there, like, Washington was able to get a basketball player at like $2.5 million because of a booster. So, and then
a very well-known booster.
But they're able to take the money that people like Joe has said here, that other $50 on top of your ticket cost or whatever, they're able to go out and get other players. So they got the top guy in the portal, and then they can pay the rest of the team. So that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that we're kind of in a world where they want to wring money out of the fans, but
they've always been wringing money out of us. Come on.
Yeah, they're at least honest about it and what they're doing. So
I make my $5,000 a year donation, and I call it a year.
I contribute by watching games and saying "Go Huskies" because I do not have money, but that's okay because maybe in the future I'll donate if I get some. What is your one for the road here, Becky? As we wrap up, could be football related, life related. Just have at it.
Well, I'm just reading Les Austin's here. Never met an Oregon fan. They're all under 30 because they don't see.
Boy,
Hot take.
I will encourage you, Big Ten fans. Find you an Oregon fan over the age of probably 45 or 50. Some
Over
of the
40.
coolest
Just
people
over
you'll
40.
talk to.
Yeah.
They're super chill. They're not like online troll Oregon fans.
They'll
They'll mess with you and they'll do the whole Oregon. We know we're daddy money bags, but they're super cool old school Oregon fans.
Yeah. One for the road. I'll just say it. Nothing's set in stone. We'll just go to the realignment thing real quick. Nothing is set in stone. Nobody's saying that somebody's like, you're really like, nobody's saying that like, hey, you're going to be in this conference if things hold out. Those have never happened. Sankey basically said it. The SEC is just not interested at this time. They're not looking. So if one big conference isn't interested, you can guess the second one's not interested right now. Have they probably talked internally? Yes. Have they talked to everybody else? No. Do we know that schools called fishing for votes to join the conference? Absolutely. That happened. But that's about it. And those two schools, they're trying to get out. They can't go anywhere. Let it play out, but don't get caught in the thing. Don't get caught up with people saying, Fox has already agreed to da-da-da-da-da. Because if Fox did that, they'd probably get sued. Like, bad.
See, look what you've done here, Becky. Wazoo, Oregon State's ACC confirmed. And
Sure.
Our good friend, you're giving our friend Clint some, I wouldn't say hope. It's good to have hope, but man, ACC Corvallis. Goodness, great. Man, Corvallis is as Atlantic and coastal as I can possibly imagine.
Well,
Clint,
I also said they talked to the Big 12 a week ago because they were both in Vegas at the same time.
Let's be, everyone's talking to everyone and no one knows what's going to happen. That's half the fun of it. But like I said, we just wanted a short break from realignment. We kept it.
I'll tell you this. Who I did this. I poor Bomber. I did this during his live show at the end. I hopped in for the last 10 minutes of the live, and I was like, I questioned Bomber, who blinks first, Georgia Tech or Syracuse?
Oh Lord.
And he's like, I'm trying to leave, Becky.
Yeah, as Bomber would say, "Oh my hell," which is the most BYU thing ever. That phrase, I love it.
They have good chocolate milk, I hear.
They do. Cougar tails and chocolate milk. It's a BYU.
Their ice cream is good. I had the ice cream when I was there. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. My one for the road. Keep chopping. Kind of brought it up. Washington Smart being Adidas. Not sure why USC wants to feed the Nike Beast. My hot take, and this is going to sound like such sour grapes from a Washington fan. All of the new jersey releases are copy paste color fill Microsoft Paint jobs with like maybe one extra stripe. And I know I'm a Husky ranting about Oregon. They have no good ideas left, and any of the good ones go straight to the Duckies, and everyone else gets garbage. I'm sorry. Stop buying Nike if you want cool looking jerseys. You're just going to get Oregon leftovers.
It's the same jersey.
Yeah.
It really is. And you can do it with Adidas too, by the way. Adidas does the same thing. Washington is one of the flags. So Washington gets the fancy stuff. And if you go look at other teams, they pretty much mirror Washington's uniform. To a T.
I get there's a certain amount of you can only do so much. But man, everyone talking every time a new Nike jersey, because Nike's the biggest provider, Nike jersey comes out and everyone's like, oh, I hope it's like this retro or this stripe, or maybe they go back to this cool pattern.
Same jersey, different colors.
It's a copy paste. And Like for the Washington Huskies, for example, like the purple jersey, if you don't change it that much, cool. It's the purple home jersey with gold pants and a gold helmet right on. But do something else cool. We had purple chrome helmets last year at one point. That was awesome. Do fun things. Bring fun back. Make college football fun again.
Right. Oh, wait. Who is it? God, who is it? Yeah, it was like Wyoming, I think it was, that like, or somebody debuted theirs, and it was like, I saw that jersey yesterday on somebody else. Oregon State, by the way, crushed their jerseys.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Shout out Clint Moses. That one's solid. I like that one.
I do like the new Nike jersey that they showed, the black one. Yeah. I did like that, but I was like, I've seen this in Wakanda.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like there's some cool ideas, but they're usually given to the Duckies, and then they're just like printed, recycled, and turned a different color. So I don't know.
And Jordan, the Jordan brand, it's the same thing. Like the Jordan brand, those are all unique. That's the only difference.
UCLA is the big. I think UCLA, and then like Maryland's the Under Armour one.
UCLA, UCLA, Carolina, and Michigan.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, and Oklahoma, all wear the Jordan brand. Everybody
and they're all solid. All solid jerseys. Solid.
Florida State's different. They wear Nike, but theirs is different than everybody else's too. A little more detailed. Yeah. And I do love that I like that baby blue that they wore in their spring game. Mm-hmm. That was nice. That was nice.
But that is
change the color.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Sadly, I got to go. It's going to be a short show. I'm happy to be back here on Mondays, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on the Big West Mafia show. Thank you so much again to Moen for holding it down and Bomber joining us earlier. And that is my one for the road. Make college football jerseys great again. That's as political as we'll ever get on this show.
What constitutes great? Like, what constitutes the great? Penn
Beauty's
State,
in the eye of the beholder.
Uniforms haven't changed in 100 years.
We're out of leather helmets, so it's all good.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got a white helmet with a stripe.
Yep. But once again, thank you so much for myself and Becky and everyone here at College Football Mafia and the Big West Mafia show. Take it easy. Peace out.